The following podcast is brought to you by the fine folks at Amazon.com. We love them. Why? Because they love us. You buy something at Amazon after clicking through the FitzDog radio site or just FitzDog site, and we get a little taste of the action. It helps us pay for our engineer, our producer, John Matthews, and also web hosting fees. There's a lot. I have pharmaceuticals I have to take to make this show possible. So go to FitzDog.com, click on the Amazon banner. Don't be a douche. Now, here's the podcast.
Public domain. Bing bang boom.
It's actually a band called Silver Sun
I love that song.
Pickups.
I was kidding around with you.
But it's, what's funny is I was told when I started my podcast by my original producer.
Use Stones music.
He goes,
use the Beatles stuff.
Michael Jackson's fine.
It's been a hard podcast. Thank you, folks. That was the Beatles. I hope it's cool.
And you outro them like no one's heard them.
Yeah.
I'm helping them out. You're like Patton Oswalt. I want to help you out, Beatles.
Yeah. And he's going to throw him a bone. Hey, man. Is that Patton meeting the Beatles? Hey, man.
I love what you're doing.
I love what you're doing. This is a private. These are inside jokes. It's not that Greg and I do not talk about other comedians at all. We are both.
Although I have to say,
we're happy for other people's success.
Not everybody's.
I know. I'm pretending.
There's a comedian who was supposed to do my podcast, and I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what happened, but he asked me if he could come on the podcast,
right? And
I said absolutely. So we book a date.
When have you ever said absolutely like that? You sound like what are you selling in the garment district?
I sound like Paul Reiser doing a punchline in the 80s.
Thanks for punching up my insult joke.
So this guy, John Campanera.
Don't mention his name.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
So I confirm him the night before, and then I get an email from him about, let's see, the email came in at 10:51. The podcast was supposed to be at 11 a.m. right here. And it says, Greg, I'm trying to get on the 405 from 101 near Van Nuys, and it's fucked. One big parking lot. I don't want to sit in traffic for an hour or more. I'll try another time. Sorry, my man. So I look at the SIG alert. There's not a lot of traffic at the 405 101. It's there's a little like quarter inch of black, but there's no... Yeah. So I say, so I write him back, and I say, I'm around all day. If you want to try later, was planning on putting it up on Friday morning. So he writes me back, I'm around all day myself. I live in Studio City. Bring your recorder and come to my house, and we can knock it out.
That did not happen.
It's just geographically undesirable right now. I really tried. John. Am I misinterpreting it?
I don't think so. But... let me tell you something. You two are both guys I was frightened of as a kid because you're both tough guys. You are deceptively tough. Like, if you met you go, this guy's not going to he's not a rough, tough guy. An hour later, when you got my jugular up against the refrigerator.
And just the jugular. I don't touch any other part of you.
No,
one of those
because
guys.
You told me you could kill me by just pointing at my jugular. And then and Campanera is tough, guys. I don't want to get beaten. All I want to do is I don't want to get beaten up. But I will. That's my whole thing in life. But I will say that is that's not the way I would have handled it. I would have lied about the traffic,
which is fine.
Yeah,
and that's why I opened the door to the rest of the day.
Then I go right to I'm taking my wife to the emergency room.
you gotta go up.
Yeah, you gotta go up. You can't say, you know what? Why don't you bring your rig up here? Because you don't have a problem coming up north, right?
But for him, it's geographically undesirable.
Which is the name of his first special. He had a whole bunch of bits. Come on, John. Do the right thing. Have Greg meet you in Westwood with his gear. You could go. Is there Jerry's Deli still up in there? You could do one of those like Larry King type from the Rascal House.
Comedians with pastrami's and
yeah. Hey, Greg, you taping today? Hey, I'm trying to tape over you. Well, I don't know why you sound like that.
What do you think about the Jerry Seinfeld comedians drinking coffee in cars?
I have not seen that yet. Now, I'm in the school where I actually have always loved Seinfeld.
I love Seinfeld.
So I haven't seen that show, though.
No, I haven't seen it either. No. I hear it's really good.
But when they start, the thing about him, they're getting on him for how many black people he...
Right.
He truly... by the way, and I'm not being... trying to be like fake, making a PC joke. But I always never know what is African American. I always feel like that not everybody wants to be referred to as an African American. What's currently going on? Why am I asking you?
My daughter said the other day, I said black.
And she said no good, right?
She said, Dad, I feel racist when I say black.
It is. That's not a good word either.
I said that's only when you're pointing and laughing, though.
Yeah, that's right. If you take away, everything is context.
Right.
Like when you walk up to someone and go, hi, black fella, then...
When you take your finger and you rub it across their cheek and then check to see if it's
you're
rubbed
cute or something like that. I don't know. Is that a stereotype?
Right. You don't seem lazy. You're working right now.
The worst word used to be shiftless. That's the words that I grew up with.
Right.
But not for my grandparents.
Or uppity.
Uppity. That's right. In fact, I named my tour. It was me, Eugene Merman, and Mark Maron, and we called it Stand Uppity, which nobody has liked. And I thought it was comedy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was called Stand Uppity, comedy that makes you feel better about yourself and superior to others. So I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing.
Right.
But then my nephew pointed out that uppity does have a connotation.
Well, only because you're all Jews.
Isn't that the way you start out every conversation? Look, they're all Jews out here. I'm just trying to get the one Jew who will look my way. That's all I care about.
I'm trying to get the one Jew that's not racist against Irish people.
Yes, and that's not easy to find. They ask me where I go to a pitch meeting, they go, where's your flask? Where's your flask with GF inscribed on the outside?
Where's your tough crowd with Colin Quinn sweatshirt?
Yeah, where's your air horn? That's what used to happen at Shea Stadium when I was a kid. I used to go to Shea Stadium.
The Irish guys had air horns?
No, I don't think they were Irish. I can't tell because of the thing. That would be the way the joke would go.
I think they're Irish.
But the air horn was a device. I hope they don't still have it at the ball games.
No, they don't. They, at the World Cup, the Soccer World Cup, they had those long horns. What were those called?
University of Texas.
There it is.
It's Sports Talk. 1-800-985-716. Sports Talk. Coming up later, we've got. I can't think of one sports figure.
Well, how is it that Campanera can put it?
Yeah.
Everything's about
he's
Campanera.
got a. Now, did you say to him? Then that was it. That's the way.
No, you don't reply to that.
No, you can't reply to that.
You just go, okay, we've established
what's going on.
Here's the thing, quite frankly, and I don't want to be insulting. He asked me to come on. He was not a guy that was on my short list.
Short list? I heard I'm on your short list.
Hey, now.
Literally.
You did the Longhorns and the short list puns?
Yeah, that's all I got
back
now.
to back?
That's all I have is puns and anger. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, yeah, he asked.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, you said you want to talk about sports. Let's talk about the Olympics. I feel like I have bits.
What could we lose? Hey, do you know that Mike Ovitz once again did not qualify for the Moguls competition?
There it is.
Mike Ovitz.
Right.
Did not qualify for the Moguls.
Right.
Michael
what about
Eisner?
Rupert Murdoch?
Rupert Murdoch did qualify, but nobody wants to share a locker room with him. The Moguls. For those of you out there still not laughing, even with Greg's hacking cough, Mogul is in a home.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that cough. It's going to be throughout.
Don't worry about it.
When I laugh, I cough, so take it as a compliment.
Where's your cough button? This is not a professional situation.
I bet there is one.
You know it's not a professional situation when you're recording somewhere where there's a ladder leading up to toys.
We're in my garage. The loft has those are Easter decorations.
That is
They're
so.
not toys.
By the way, for anybody who's going to come over to Greg Fitzsimmons' house, and he does encourage it. He actually arranges tours to the stars' homes.
Right.
It's a clean home. You guys are both. Are you both clean? You're both.
We have a
neat?
We have a Guatemalan woman over right now. She's been cleaning the house for like 3 hours.
They're good. The Guatemalans. Don't get someone from Honduras.
No, Jesus, they'll steal. The Guatemalans. She cleans it like it's her own house. And here's the thing. You love my wife.
I do love your wife,
but
that sounded wrong. I do like Lou Rawls. You'll never find as long as you live. That wasn't Lou Rawls.
Line.
Someone who understands you. Don't go any further, Andy. We can't get the rights. This old man. You know what you should use for the intro for your show? This old man, he played one smeaky, smoky, boom, boom, boom.
Smicky, smicky, boom, boom, boom.
Anything public domain.
Right,
brings us back to dough. Oh, that's not public domain. Yeah. That's the way you would sound if you smoked. Did you ever smoke?
No, I had asthma really badly as a kid. I was on went to the hospital a bunch of times. Bad.
Why did I bring it up?
Because I'm hacking into the microphone.
Are you on something now? Do you have a bronchodilator?
I have a inhaler.
You should sponsor that.
I know.
Folks, have you thought about Flovent or whatever it is?
Advair.
Advair?
Add something, Advair. But I could sponsor. I have a hemorrhoid.
I heard about that.
Now, so I've been using medication.
It was so weird that's the first thing you wanted to show me when I came over.
Do you want to hear my joke about it?
Yes.
So I went to the doctor. He told me I had hemorrhoid. He gave me some cream. I came home. Hadn't told my wife yet. So I'm in the bathroom, and I've got the ointment on my finger, and my finger's at my ass. And my wife walks into the bathroom.
Get out of here.
And I just looked at her, and I went, "What? You won't fuck me?" Which is the only part about that joke that's a problem is that that's not like a thing with me and my wife. Like, it's just a shticky old Borscht Belt take on it,
right.
But it's killing.
Yeah. But why do you want your wife to insert something up your ass?
In
Have
case
you guys
the cops
talked about
come.
that? Have you talked about that? I'll be back with couple talk. When did this start?
The hemorrhoid?
That you would be putting your finger in your... Why am I going blue? Is that... I won't get the cap, he said, unless I go blue.
Now, when you yell at yourself,
yeah,
who are the two people? Because one guy's yelling at the other guy.
I have different people living in my head. I have a Catskills comedian
right.
who will always come out.
Yep.
Who does bad puns.
Yep.
What can we luge? That's him. Hey, I heard they had a skeleton crew over at the Skeleton. Nothing. That's nothing. Good. And then there's another person who's like a kind of an uptight, doesn't want to be perceived as blue guy.
Right.
Keep it clean.
All right.
You want to do TV clean? There's a TV clean guy in my head.
So he's kind of like, he's the young comic who's got a manager back in the early 90s who wants him to get a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And meanwhile, now you're in your 50s.
Right.
And there's no deal. It's never going to happen.
I'm more in my early late 30s.
I'm so sorry. That was a Hollywood no-no.
You know why I'm 57, and I can't stop telling people I'm 57, and my wife says, can't you at least... Do you have to tell them? I said, well, they'll find it anyway. Why don't you let them click, all right?
Let them click?
Let them click, because everything. It's like, are you ready to order? Yes, I'll have the fettuccine Alfredo. I'm 57. How are you? 57. Don't look it, right? I look good. You're damn right I look good for someone who brings up their age every 4 minutes.
You do look good for 57. You got a full head of hair.
I do.
Not a lot of wrinkles.
Wait, I don't like where that started.
You don't have a lot of wrinkles?
No, 0 wrinkles. Because I've had procedures.
Your glasses, you have glasses. The eyes are gone. And
I got Costas eyes?
Your nose is not small.
I know, because it's very Jewish.
Right.
Although I did say that as Bill Maher ages, his face will shrivel up and his nose will become a functional penis. Now, is that bad? Oh, I'm the bad. I don't usually like to make fun of the way people look, but in his case, could you imagine getting high with that guy smoking pot with Bill Maher with that penis nose?
Oh,
and
it would freak you out.
Yeah, well, he doesn't get happier. He gets more hateful.
Have you ever gotten
people's
high
religion?
with him?
No, I wouldn't. He wouldn't invite me. And I've never had a conversation. I used to be on the old Bill Maher show a couple times. But
Right.
he doesn't know me from Adam.
I
He
used to
calls
write for
me
that
at.
show.
You did?
Yeah.
Was this when Paul F was on it, or that time period?
No, I think it was
Or
before Paul F.
What was it
when
like?
It was back in New York.
I mean, I know he's a great guy, but what was it like? I mean, I know he's fantastic off camera. But was he as nice as he seems?
One time he came into the writer's office after a show. He told us to meet in the writer's office after a taping. And he just walked in, and we're all sitting there, and it's quiet. and he didn't like the taping. And he goes, well, what can I say? Write better shit. And then he just walked out.
You know why that's actually good? Because that's really all he can say, because he can't write better shit.
Yeah, I don't... He was good in the room at knowing what was funny.
Right.
You know, which is more important than being funny. It's almost better because when the guy you're writing for is funny, everybody else's shit gets marginalized. But
Right.
when it's a guy who can mediate what's funny,
yeah.
then everyone's invested.
Well, I can. Yeah, I don't enjoy him because I think he's kind of a hate monger, anti. You know, I'm anti the people who we've talked about. We're on the same side on this with people who just hate all religion.
Well, I don't know if we're completely on the same side.
You're throwing me under the bus.
Very much so. This is what I do. I set you up.
Yeah.
You feel trusting, and that I'm supporting
I heard you talk about that podcast with me and Janine.
Yeah,
and you said that we were kind of in the same.
We
school.
are, but just now when you said the religion thing, I am anti-religion in the macrocosm of it. I think if somebody has a relationship with a religion that, like my mother, she is 74 years old. She was raised Irish Catholic, beat by the nuns, followed the whole thing. It was there for when my dad died. It was comforting. She lives it and believes it. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to send her a copy of Zealot and try to tell her that the everything in the Bible is borrowed, misconstrued,
Who's
written
Zealot?
way after
Who's Zealot?
Oh, it's this great book called Zealot.
Okay.
It came out of about 3 or 4 months ago, and it basically...
It's not one of those Dawkins books, is it?
No, I just finished reading
Sam Harris.
the God
Delusion.
The last two books. It's funny. It was the last two books I read.
Read his stuff.
I have to read it because I have to look at how empty his fucking arguments are. It's so vitriolic, and it's so clearly a reaction to the fact that he went to a religious school growing up. That's it. Nobody can be a fucking messianic atheist unless they're. It's like the Janine Garofalo, Ari Shafir thing. He was raised Orthodox Jew. She was raised Italian Catholic.
Right.
And they both have some fucking baggage from it.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with upbringing because maybe because I'm a little bit older. To me, when I hear these guys like Bill Maher or whoever, and they're rampant online, like people in their Twitter bio will have anti-Islam. It's like when I was 12 years old, we all knew that the Bible wasn't literal. It's like, what do you not? It's like, did you ever grow up? And it's almost, to me, it's like saying like, if you looked at the comedy business, you go, how many comics stink, and how is the business? How bad is TV? It's like, almost every organization at one point gets corrupt,
right?
But that doesn't mean that the core principles. That doesn't mean what Jesus was saying, and what Muhammad was saying, and what the Buddha was saying. They weren't all saying basically the same thing, which is whatever you want to call that name. And I get in trouble for this online all the time because I use spirituality, and then I equate it with God, and people think, God, they think God, if you use the word God, it's a thing. But that's not what it is for me, and that's not how
where we agree.
Yeah.
I think that God, to me, is like, you've got different branches of spirituality, and people that just believe in God are called deists. It's just the sense that there is then you have people that won't say one way or the other what it is.
Right.
And they're just called agnostic. They say it may be true, it may not. And I think you and I are deists in a sense because I do believe that there is a fucking ball of energy that has. Yeah,
I'm very thrown off, and I will admit this freely that I am not. And actually, I think it's part of me that's good that I know. I'm not that I'm ignorant of language, but like. To me, I know what I believe, and I think maybe we're more like theists, or I don't even know what. But that's what drives me nuts. Who cares what the word is? It's like if you're an art, like many artists or comedians or people who paint or dance, you get into whatever you want to call it. Call it the zone. If you've experienced that. You know that there's another dimension to life that's not all that. Yes, it involves logic. You couldn't be a comedian and just wake up and start telling jokes. But at some point, you go into this other zone. And I think and that's what this person I read named Karen Armstrong believes because she's writes all these great books. She goes, in the old days, religion was something you did. Like you lit incense,
right.
You did breathing exercises,
you did good works,
and you did good works. All the things like the golden rule and all the things that Jesus. Of course, we don't know exactly what he said, and the Gospels aren't Jesus, but that's kind of what the message was. But now it's like these people reacting to fundamentalists.
Well, and what's really crazy is that talk about putting a name on it. That's not factual. Jesus, that's this book, Zealot, basically says Jesus was not the Son of God in an ethereal way.
And he never said in that way.
He called himself a Son of Man, and
right.
He was about taking down the Jewish institutions, the high priests that
Don't
were.
say the Jews again.
No, he was anti-Semitic.
I didn't know that.
No, he was very much a Jew, and he very much supported Judaism.
He didn't like the money changers.
He didn't like the money changers. He didn't like the bureaucracy. He didn't like the fact that, and people even say that he was rising up against Rome, which isn't true either. He was concerned with the way Judaism was being handled. But then Rome basically then took Jesus and co-opted it
At
for
the
their own means.
Constantinople thing, right? The whole conference,
Constantinople, and they basically got rid of the Jewish uprising that had taken place in Jerusalem, and they squashed all that in history, and they really just made it about Jesus trying to get the message of all men.
Yeah, he is God.
That he is God.
You have to go through him to get to God.
Right.
And they also pick, and another person I like is Elaine Pagels, because when they did that Jerusalem dig or whatever, I always forget when they found like the Dead Sea Scrolls or they did this big dig, they also found other gospels. And there's all other gospels that are way more like ethereal and more mystical and more, but they don't include. That's why you always see John 3:16 is because that's the most orthodox version of events.
But the one you really don't see is James, who is Jesus' brother. Who none of the books are written by anybody that lived and saw Jesus.
Right.
They're all written like in
even though
basically
they say
like
Paul. It's not Paul. It's not the Paul.
Well, Paul was originally
he was
Saul.
afterwards. Was he afterwards?
He was afterwards. His claim that he tried to call himself the 13th apostle, but basically he said that he was walking to Corinthia or something, and Jesus appeared to him as a spirit and talked to him and told him that he had to go out and tell Jesus his message. So he considered himself above the other apostles because Jesus came to him in the afterlife. Now he went back to Jerusalem, and James, who's Jesus' brother, called him to task and fucking screamed at him and said, "Stop preaching this message," because he was the guy that was taking it and making it about God and Jesus both being God.
He also said he was the fifth Beatle, which was very. I was thinking about that for about 4 minutes. So that book Zealot sounds like something I think
you'd enjoy it.
Resonate with.
So I wrote this tweet that got a lot of backlash. Religion is to spirituality what astrology is to astronomy, and what curling is to the Olympics.
Okay, now let's not get into curling because that is the greatest.
Do you love it?
Do I love it? Do I not tape everything on MSNBC and get violently upset in convenience stores when people are talking about the curling results? Spoiler alert!
Why do they get so upset in convenience stores?
Because they can't stop talking about curling at this place I go to. Everything is curling and hummus.
Do people push stuff down the aisle and then somebody takes a broom?
Yeah, that's the thing too. It starts spraying. I say, come on, people. I'm trying to get to the peanut M&Ms. I know exactly what you're saying, but here's the only difference. And here's an example I use, and all these angry atheists, they don't know what to say about it. So they launch into Google search. My mom, I was raised Jewish, but both my parents were kind of agnostic. My mom became a Quaker, and people don't know about Quakers. They're not. And there's different sects of Quakers, but the Quaker sect that she's a part of, they meet every Sunday, and they have what they call meaningful worship. They sit and they're silent. Someone can talk, someone cannot talk. There's no dogma.
It's like a town meeting.
There's no dogma.
Right.
You don't even have to say you believe in God. Many of them do come from Christian backgrounds, or they related to Jesus as a story, and it's unassailable that this is a religion that you would like and anybody would like.
Well, isn't that the school in D.C. that all the presidents send their kids to?
That's a Quaker school, and my mom's a pacifist. Now, when push came to shove, I'm sure my mom would have was in favor of taking down Hitler, but their philosophy is more pacifist. And to be fair, like their whole thing is like, let's say you're a roofer and you want to come and roof my house. I agreed to you will charge me a fair price. I'm not going to bargain down your price. That's everything. Anti-Jewish. That's what they're really about. Because my mother is.
Was it a reaction to Judaism?
No. Well, my mother was. I did that joke about how all Jews are anti-Semitic, and I said, "How's that possible?" I said, "Spend a day at the temple where I grew up. Make your own decision." Adzie, so good to see you going to college. Wonderful. Pastrami? Very nice. A state school? Oh, that cantor can't sing. He can't sing. He should get out of the cantor business. I think the rabbi was half in the bag. I think he's hitting the dessert wine too hard. Someone's hitting someone had a heavy hand with the Mogan David. Which is that great
state school? Did that come up? State school?
No, I think I'm ripping. But it's like that episode of Seinfeld where he goes down to Florida. That's the greatest episode.
Yeah.
She goes, I love, great to see you. I hate her like poison.
But getting back to the Olympics.
Oh, getting back to the tweet, though. So the tweet got bad reaction?
Well, I mean, First of all, you can't make fun of the Olympics during the Olympics. People really get, and my whole thing is like, I don't know that we should be so enamored with people that they're not getting paid. They're spending 4 years of their life giving up they're up at 5 a.m. training. They're in pain. There's no fucking money. They're giving up like all their social interactions and relationships. Also, they can stand on a podium and get a fucking medal on their neck. And I think to myself, like, is that something we should be proud of as Americans? Does that say much about it? Would say more about us if we paid these fucking people, since they're selling ad space based on their entertaining us. It's like college football. They don't get paid.
Right.
Yet there's stadiums with 60,000 people and ads being
they
run.
should get paid. They should get paid.
So should the Olympians.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You should get a job as a professional joy destroyer. Yeah? What are you guys doing? We're playing badminton. Badminton seems meaningless to me. Are you going to compete with that? Is there money in that? No, we just like it. Oh, seems like a waste. Have a good day.
Here's the thing that I can't wrap my head. I had this epiphany last night. I'm driving to the Laugh Factory, which is usually where epiphanies happen. Like, what am I doing? And I thought there's like people live their lives for one of three reasons, and I'm open to it being 4 or 5, but these are the 3 I thought of. One is you just want to be successful in a sense of you want to figure out the system of women. All right, I got to talk this way, dress this way, and then you ask them then, and then you get them, and you get a wife. And I want to be successful at work. Find a job that you can make money in, not that you care about, and find out the angle. What are the angles? And you do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, where do you buy a house? What's a good neighborhood? Where are the gays? All right, go there and buy a house, fix it up. You know, like you're one of those people, right?
Right.
And then, or you're somebody who stands for something, and you live your life like whether you're religious or whether you're a union guy, there's a thing you believe in.
True.
And it sort of sublimates the pure success agenda. And it becomes more about like, I want life to conform to this thing that I believe is right.
Yes, and that's dangerous too.
That's very dangerous. And then you've got people that just want the truth. And I sort of see you as one of those people of like, I want to know what's true about the Bible. I want to know what's true about show business. I want to pull back the curtain and expose and say, this is what's real. And then you think to yourself, well, what makes a happy life? Because that maybe is the 4th branch, is I just want to be happy. It's like hedonism. How do I come a lot? How do I get a hot tub because that feels good? How do I, watch football? Whatever it is that makes me happy,
yeah,
I want
an 8
that.
ball and a large pizza.
Are you kidding me?
Kidding me? We're
Sprinkle
there.
it on top.
Yeah.
So what's the way to live your life? I mean, is it different for every person, or is there is finding out the truth, does that give you a better life? Because you could spend your whole life researching and debating to find out the truth. Meanwhile, the other guy's watching football and snorting an 8-ball and eating pizza.
Right.
He doesn't give a fuck that his religion is wrong. He goes to that church. It makes him feel good.
Yeah, well, I think what you're saying is absolutely true. Here's the thing. I think that what has saved, I'm not saying it saved my life, but one thing I feel blessed about is that I have something I love doing.
Right.
And that's like, that's like the Joseph Campbell thing, follow your bliss, But I would and you're the same way. I love stand-up. It's not like I'm doing it as an obligation. I love it.
Right.
And I think when you find something you love, and for me, in my 20s, I wanted to be a musician, but I was just struggling. Like I should have probably been doing it in my 20s, and I didn't. But I never had but I kind of always knew I wanted to do something creative. I think it's a lot more depressing when you have no idea what you want to do. So I think finding out what you're meant to do or what you like to do is 95% of the thing.
And then doing it passionately.
And then do it because I think all the other stuff, like I got really angry during the Super Bowl. It was a tight game. That part was fun. But when people start, I love Bob Dylan, and I've always loved. I love his voice.
Two ads, one he's in, and one is using his music.
And it's like. People, he's not, and so I started to go nuts because to me it's hypocritical. I don't put down friends of mine who are in commercials. It's like take Jerry Seinfeld. He loves he loves doing commercials. So when he does American Express commercials, there's a joy in it. Or even someone like Carrie Brownstein, who I think is brilliant. I love the show Portlandia. She did American Express commercials, and they were hilarious.
Right.
It's like what is it? What do we? image do we want? I think it's a fake 60s. And like Hicks, who was one of my heroes, I mean, he was very hard on people for doing any kind, but that was just the way. I mean, and I respected that.
Right.
But when I look at life, it's like I can't be all one way because I do want to make a living. That doesn't mean I'm going to do a commercial for Napalm or I would do something for the Republican National Committee.
Right.
You always have the right to say no. So there is morals involved in everything. But when you make yourself too much or I could look at Jimmy Fallon and go, well, stop endorsing everything,
right,
and make them funny. You want to do Capital One commercials? They're not funny. The kid cannot understand you. He's never going to understand you.
Right.
So when you're going, do you like money? It doesn't matter. It's a kid. Get it through your thick head, Jimmy. The kid doesn't have a credit card, doesn't get what you're saying, and it's not cute that you're saying it and he doesn't get it. They're just terrible commercials. So,
right.
But when you make strict rules, I'm just the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm going to be the new Phillips Magnesia guy.
Is that your congratulations?
Yeah. Hey,
wait,
you got
what's
an
your
upset
point
stomach?
with Dylan that he had a right to do that and
Whatever
people shouldn't give him shit?
He doesn't care, and he's always been this way. He's not a folk singer.
Why do you think he did it?
I think first of all, I think that for the money. I think
Why? He doesn't need the money.
I think that. Well, I don't think it was just for the money. Who knows? I'm not in his head.
Some people say that these commercials
I like
actually
the commercial,
give
by the way.
exposure to an artist that maybe the newer generations aren't as familiar with.
That's true too. I also thought I liked the commercial.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with Chrysler car? Are we not? Are we saying buying a Chrysler is not?
Right.
But then people go, it's foreign owned, or
right.
I mean, what do you want? What do you want? Don't make a commercial for the Republican National Committee. And then
well, what about
yourself.
Bono? Because I wrote a tweet the other day that Bono is becoming music's Robin Williams. You know, he just is so enamored with hearing himself talk and so caught up in his own charm.
Yeah.
That he really is annoying. I mean, people have always found him annoying. I didn't until recently.
I think he's always had that kind of a thing. It's hard to argue with all the stuff, the good stuff he's done. But
Absolutely.
I don't follow much what they would.
I saw him on Fallon the other
night. I'm
night.
more an Edge.
By the
fan.
way, Fallon is very good.
Yeah,
the new
sure
show,
it is.
I'm telling you,
I've seen it.
Andy, have you seen the new Tonight Show?
Yeah, it's over.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't find him
I refuse to say anything that does not conform to my preconceived it's a Jewish prayer. I have a preconceived view of Jimmy Fallon, and I won't change it for Imaru or Maine. I always thought his comedy act was terrible. He was terrible in movies, and all he did on Saturday Night Live was laugh at himself. V'imaru or Maine, Asher Bosham Shachafim. Yes, it's funny that he can do a Bono. You know who else does a good Bono? Bono Shamasha Misa Sosashin. No, you do not want 40 years of a guy going, that's so great. And how many times are you going to get Will Ferrell and who I love? But how many times are you going to get Justin Kutcher to come on your show? Ashton Timber Kutcher.
I feel the same way. I wouldn't know those guys.
Did you see the thing that they keep showing of him and Will Lee with the evolution of hip hop?
Oh,
yeah, and the
did I
dance.
see that?
Take that bit and throw it in the garbage. That bit stinks. The bit where he slow dances the comedy stinks, and he doesn't have a sincere bone in his body. Tell me now what you liked about. Tell me now what you liked about the show. Do you think he's as nice? My theory is he's like a Leno. He can't be that. He's got to be mean deep down. He's mean deep down.
I don't think he is.
No, come on.
I've known him. He used to open for me.
Yeah, but when the clown makeup is off and he's back at home and he's doing his nails, come on.
No, he's a very nice guy.
No. Yeah. Come on, tell us the truth.
Show.
Well, you worked with him on the road?
Yeah, he was very sweet.
Did he say to you, "I love your act so great"?
Yes,
so great.
yes, he did. But you know what? He came to see me at the Hollywood Improv last year. Saw my name on the sign, parked, came in, watched my set. It was very nice. He didn't need to do that.
And did you say to yourself, what's his angle? That's what I would say with that guy. What's his angle? When's he going to drop the boom?
He did tell me to try to get a credit card. He had an application. Now, what's the Venture One Capital?
Oh, it's Capital One credit card. He carries the application.
He has a swiper.
Oh,
he can set it up.
How about this? I get recognized today because I was sitting outside ready to work out. Why did I have to include that in there? Hey, you're that comedian guy, right? And I walk, typical me. I walk up to the thing and I start reciting my credits, and maybe this guy. They try to start selling me magazines.
Oh, that was their angle, huh? Do you think they go, we'll go to Hollywood. We'll pretend we recognize the person. Get them on the hook, sell them the magazine.
I think one person in the car they were actually happy that I know that guy.
Right.
And then the people in the back seat were just because it was. I guess they were dropping off the crew,
Right.
Because they have. How does it work? They have a contest. If I sell,
Let me tell you.
I sold door to door.
Let me tell you the best story on that topic of all time, and this is an absolutely true because my stories can tend to.
I did not realize
fiction.
that until I asked you a specific question. I thought everything you said was the truth.
This is my hand on my father's grave.
I don't like that image.
All right, my kids'
No, don't
lives.
bring your kids into. No, I believe that's true.
This is a 100% true story. I was doing stand-up comedy, living in Boston, and I would come down to New York 2 or 3 days a week, and I would do spots in the city.
I took the money from the used car. I
opened up
the piano.
And then anytime there was a gig at a Red Roof Inn,
I would go to the door. Yeah.
So I would stay at my mom's house, and I would, it was 20 minutes into the city, so I'd stay there, and I wake up one day, and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm eating a bowl of cereal. My mom's off at work. I'm alone in the house, and it's a nice house, a nice middle-class house in the suburbs, and knock on the door, and I open it up, and it's this cute, Midwestern girl. She's not skinny, and she asked me if I want to buy a magazine, and I look at the list, and I said, I don't read any of these magazines, and she goes, well, it's a contest. If I sell enough, I get to go to Europe, and I was like, I don't read any of these magazines, it's not, and so we're talking, she keeps pushing, and I go, you want a cup of coffee? I mean, you can come in and have a cup of coffee. So she comes in. I make her some coffee. We're talking about the magazines. And then she goes, do you live here? And I said, and meanwhile, I'm like 24 years old at this point. And I go, yeah, this is my house. What do you do? I'm a comedian. Really? You're a comedian? This is your house? And there's a VHS tape on the table. It was like the first stand-up tape I'd ever gotten made to try to get some work. It's like 7 minutes long. Horrible. I got a mullet. And she said, I said, do you want to see it? She goes, yeah. So we go into the TV room and I pop it in and she's laughing. She just can't believe I'm on a television screen. This is before people had like VCRs. And so we're watching it and she's laughing. And I just start making out with her. And we're going at it and we're kind of dry humping. And I said, do you want to go to my room? And she said, yeah. And then she said she had to go to the bathroom first. So we went to the bathroom, and I ran into my brother's room, and I got a condom because I knew he had one in his dresser. She comes up to my room, and we get on the bed, and she goes, why do you have a twin bed? And there's like race car wallpaper. It's like my childhood room. And I go, well, I just bought the house. I haven't had a chance to redo it yet. So
why do you have a race car? And cowboy pajamas laid out.
Why are you wearing them? Why'd you just put on your cowboy pajamas? So we make love. And then she goes, she looks at her watch and she's like, I got to go. The van's picking me up in 5 minutes on the corner. And there I am. And now it's like 11:45 and I'm finishing my cereal at the table. And about half an hour later, I get a call from my friend Tommy. He goes, you're not going to believe what just happened. This woman just knocked on my door. And I just got out of the shower, and I'm in my towel, and she's selling magazines. I swear to God. And so he said, and I was hitting on her, and I bought like 3 magazines, and I asked her to come in, and and she didn't, but like I really thought it was going to happen. I was like, she didn't come in because she's done. She's done.
She got Fitzsimmons?
She got FitzDogged.
I cannot believe
100% true story.
Now, did this go to trial, or was there something?
I'm waiting for some kid to come selling magazines at my door, and he's got freckles and a receding hairline. Dad?
Oh, my God. That is the worst thing. And all I could think of this whole time was that you didn't buy any magazines. You didn't buy it. You did, right?
Key. That's the key. I didn't have the money. I spent it all on that VHS tape I got made at the
house.
Laughing Duck.
You spent it all on the house you just bought.
That's right.
You have no money. Otherwise, why wouldn't you have replaced the twin beds and taken out the electronic football game from the 30s with the vibrating men?
Why does the living room have oil paintings of old people?
Why do you have a slinky in your bed? Is this your silly putty?
Why is there a framed photo of John F. Kennedy and the Pope in the front room?
Who's Howdy Doody?
How come none of the chairs match in the kitchen? You're a successful comedian.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I only have one eating. That is the great. By the way, that is the greatest story
great
of
story.
all time.
Right.
Nobody can top it.
Nobody can top that story.
Although my friend, Gruber, the naked trucker
Naturally.
guy, he said that he went to see the Glenn Miller because I just heard a plane. He told me he went to see the Glenn Miller Orchestra.
Yeah.
But none of the original members, obviously, including Glenn Miller, who died mysteriously.
Right.
A plane flies overhead, and the band leader goes, "Hope it's one of ours." Like a World War II joke. In other words, like if you were watching a show before the war and you heard a plane, hope it's one of ours. It's not the Luftwaffe.
It still works. That joke would always work.
Hope it's one of ours. But the one, this is an absolutely true story. I think maybe I told you this one, and it's really quick. I was eating a bowl of cereal one night. I was watching Conan O'Brien, and this is a total true story. And I lived alone in Hermosa Beach in this like little closet, and I'm eating cereal, and I'm watching, and Warren Thomas comes on.
Right.
And he's doing his set, and a joke bombs, and he goes, "Uh-oh, I'm entering Andy Kindlerville."
No, he didn't.
I spit out my cereal. I couldn't believe it. It was a dream come true. Of course, it got no reaction because it was like now it would get a huge standing ovation now. But that reference died, and that made me laugh so much.
That's amazing.
That's like something you make up that someone arranges. I'm gonna go.
Here's what I love about you is your transitions while you're telling stories. Like first you told the joke about the plane going overhead because you heard it. Nobody in the podcast world heard it, and that made you think of that. And then the next joke was spinning off the fact that the most minor detail of my story, that I was eating a bowl of cereal.
So terrible.
Made you go,
what I did was terrible.
You don't listen to people. All you do is you're teeing up your next story.
You know what?
Finding one detail.
We'll be back with who has the worst case of ADD after these messages.
I wish Gibbons was here because he could jump in on that.
I love Gibbons when he talks about, when you guys talk about ADD,
right? And
he talks about how taking Adderall is like cocaine. Right. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Let's get back to the Olympics.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I bring up a thing?
So here's the one I love is they had the bobsled. What?
You're like the greatest talk show host ever. All right, let's get back to the Olympics, old man. All right. Nobody wants to hear your stories about stuff you enjoyed listening to my podcast. Remember the time you had the beaver on?
Remember he said? Remember? What was the greatest when Chris Farley did that interview with Paul McCartney?
I don't remember. I remember that one.
Remember the time. Remember you said, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Is that true? Paul McCartney just goes, yeah, I think it is, and he goes, oh, awesome. That's so great.
Whatever happened to that guy? All right, that was a bad joke.
What happened to Warren Thomas? Died of AIDS, didn't he?
Why am I laughing nervously?
Because you didn't like the reference he made about bombing and attributing it to you, and then he died of AIDS.
There's no way to connect those two events. All right, let's get back to the Olympics.
So the
I
bobsled,
did this time. Yeah,
the bobsled. Here's what's funny to me is it's not a sport. They make a car, and then they run to push it, but then they just sit in it. And on an ice track,
right?
And you watch it again and again and again for an hour, and you as a viewer have no fucking idea which is a better ride than the next one. Other than looking at the timer in the corner.
That's all I look at is the timer. Is he in the green? Is he in the green? Are they ahead? Are they ahead?
Right.
Yeah, but you hear the guy who does the commentating. He knows what's going on.
He knows.
He goes, oh. Look at that.
Right.
And my wife Susan knows. She goes, oh, look at that.
She can tell. She's a bobsled
aficionado. Yeah, because you knock against the side.
Well,
you bump against the side. And also, if you flip over a few times, then you can tell it's not a good run.
That's not a good time.
I want to be a brakeman, though. That sounds like a great gig.
The brakeman sounds good, except you can't see anything. Your head is down.
Why would you take that job? You know what I want? I want to get into sports, but I don't want anybody to see me.
Right.
And I want to be holding on to one device. And the only thing I have to do is jump in there good.
Well, you got to push it first.
You got to push it.
To me, it sounds like when I had a car in high school and it would break down in intersections, we'd all have to jump out and push the car and then jump in it again. So the event should be You got to push the bobsled.
Manual transmission.
It should be a manual transmission. You have to jump start, and then you got to search for change for gas money inside the bobsled.
Right.
And then someone's got to try to get a blowjob. That should be the whole run on the way down the hill.
Why do you go with the blowjob at the end?
All right, what about this alternative ending?
Clean joke.
There's the blue guy. Don't want to be blue guy.
Why would you?
How would the Catskills guy handle that?
What would you? My parents used to say, "Oh, look, kid, all you need is 5 jokes, and you rotate them seasonally." Easter's coming up. Either Easter's coming up, or you just had Easter. Either one. Count the days. 6 months after Christmas, you say, "Well, how about that Christmas?" And then 6 months before Christmas, you go, "Christmas is just around the corner." If you want to do an old joke, hey kid, you want to do an old joke about an old joke? Tell him, something. It just came out on DVD.
Oh no! I saw a guy last night do this. He said, "Yeah, I'm watching Netflix, and that Forrest Gump came on." Now, the Forrest Gump, I swear to God, and I'm going like, "Kid, you're 27 years old."
And the thing is, you always insist on having a microphone at the back of the house. Where you say that during people's sets.
Well, actually, this particular show at the Laugh Factory it's normally
name dropper.
It's usually Kevin Nealon and Dom Irrera, and you do 10 minutes, and then they come up on stage and interview you for 10 minutes about your set. And I should have brought that up, and I didn't.
Did you press record, by the way? Yeah, because we had an incident.
It happened again.
With who?
So
Mother
fucking
Teresa?
Embarrassed. Close. Nikki Glaser. Who I love.
She's the greatest. I love her so much. We bonded playing at. I bombed every night when I played Raleigh's.
Charlie Goodnights?
That's what I meant to say.
Right.
No, it's Raleigh's in Charlie Goodnight, North Carolina. I think you're wrong. I think the name of the city is Charlie Goodnights, Carolina, and the name of the club is Raleigh's.
The club got so big.
Yeah,
it became
I'm
incorporated.
going to be the guy who insists that they're correct. Oh, maybe you're right, but it sounds like we're going to be landing in Charlie Goodnights. Yeah, and we bonded because I bombed every night, and there was a lot of candy backstage. But what happened?
Well,
was it both shows?
I did this recorder, which is why maybe you've noticed I've looked at it like 20 times. And I bought a new one since, but it hasn't arrived in the mail. But it crashed. We had done like an hour and 15 minutes in her hotel room at the W, and it was like heartfelt, and it was funny, and she's a big fan of the podcast, so there was, she was complimentary, and then so it crashed, and I thought maybe it just died and we still had the file, most of it. So I said, well, let's just finish out the podcast, and so I recorded this one story, and I'm going to play it right now. This is Nikki Glaser telling a very funny story that I insisted she retell.
I hit a man with my car when I was 16. My parents' humongous Land Cruiser. I was driving it down in a 15 zone, which the only street in St. Louis that's 15.
And you're like 16, 17 years old?
I was 16 years old. Just got my license.
Alone?
No, I was with a friend, and we were dressed in like full 80s regalia because we were going to like a pep rally or something.
Right.
So we're dressed like head to toe 80s, and we're listening to music and I'm cruising along, and there's a garbage truck parked on the side of the street at this is like 4:00 in the afternoon, and garbage men I don't expect to see them except in the morning. So I think it's just like parked there, but it wasn't. It was like active, and a garbage man jumped out, and as soon as my car got parallel with the car, he jumped out to cross the street to get some cans. And we made eye contact, and he leapt up in the air. It was crazy. It was like slow motion. Eye
contact?
Mm-hmm. And I hit his feet, and he flew into the curb, and then flew into the grass. And then I parked the car.
Did he make it across
your car? He made it across because he jumped. Otherwise,
he
would
his feet, and it spun him.
Yeah, it spun him into the curb. I think he hit his face in the curb, and then flew. Yeah, it was bad. And so, but the garbage men wouldn't let me get near him, because they were like, "Oh, James keeps doing this. He jumps out all the time. This is his fault." Like, they blamed him right away.
Like he's a cat. Right.
Yes. They're like, "We keep telling him to not do this. He's new." And I'm like crying, and my parents are like in Paris at the time, so I they weren't even around to like comfort me, so I just was like stranded staying at my friend's place. Like, I just hit this man. I still went to the pep rally because he was just taken away in an ambulance. We filled out a police report,
right.
And then
sure,
never heard back until I was getting home from a family vacation after Christmas 3.5 years later, and there was a call on our answering machine that was like, "You're being sued by James blah 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 for like however much money. I think it was like $1 million he was asking for. But we went to court. I had to like go back from college to go testify and for about 3 days. And then
the punchline. Give me the punchline.
It came out on the stand that he was a child molester. And I think that is why I won. Because, his attorney is cross-examining him and said, have you ever been charged with a felony? And he was like, yes. And he was like, what was it? I think the attorney was surprised. Like, he was just asking these, and he was like, child molestation.
Never ask a question you don't know the answer to.
No shit. And I remember we said child molestation. I just turned back and looked at my mom in the back of the courtroom like, we got this. The jury was all moms. I mean, there was no way that this was going to go.
16, you're practically
I was a child. And when he was describing his injuries, part of his thing was like his hand couldn't move the same way. And he was making he's like, I can't do this motion anymore. He's like fingering the air. And it's like, oh, you can't
and
fiddle
he's reaching
children.
down low when he does it.
Yes.
Oh, if only you could go back and really back up and finish the job.
I know.
My God. So that was Nikki Glaser.
Did she really hit a man with a car?
I mean, she told the story the first time, and I was like fucking blown away, so she told it again.
Because that's my big fear, is to hit someone in a car. But I'm obsessive compulsive.
Well, you drive. You pulled up to my house.
Oh, God.
And I'm sitting here in FitzDog Studios, the toy chest. And I'm watching you old Jew in a Toyota. You pull up into my driveway. You look 8 different directions before you back up.
I'm eating ice cream, too. That's the only thing.
I thought there was a cup of coffee in your hand.
It was the end of the night. I have the coffee on the console.
Here you are doing a broken K-turn on a busy street up an angled driveway, and you've got something in your hand, so you're doing it with one hand. It took you 35 minutes to turn your car around and park it in front of my house.
How high is that curb? I mean, it's like a nightmare out there.
It's a high curb. Actually, Mike Gibbons came over here the other day, and he pulled up in front. It was early in the morning. It was like 7:45. He pulled his car in front of my driveway. He was coming in to borrow something from me. And my wife was taking the kids to school, so she's backing out, and we have a Toyota Highlander. So it's it's higher than a normal car. And she's backing down, and it's an angle-down driveway. Didn't see his car, smashed into the side of it, caved the whole side of the car.
Oh, my God.
And, of course, Mike, I keep saying, I'm coming over to take your car to get it fixed. No, I shouldn't have been parked there. I shouldn't have parked. Mike is so...
It's unbelievable.
No conflict, no...
I'm kind of like that, too.
Yeah?
I'm afraid of... Well, I'd be afraid. Fitzsimmons goes, we're taking it to my guy.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen.
You be in the car, by the way, when I take it.
Oh, yes, Mr. Fitzsimmons. You know what?
Why don't you wait in the trunk? Save me time.
Wait in the trunk. What's the line from Goodfellas? When he kills the guy who was in Sopranos?
Leave the gun, take the cannolis?
Where he says, I didn't bring enough lime or something like that. That was their big concern.
Right.
How to get... And we'll be back with more Andy Mangel's memories of scenes from great movies. What was that thing? It was like Scarlett O'Hare, and then the guy's like Brett Butler.
Brett Butler.
Yeah, and he's the guy.
He's the butler.
He's got Clark Gable's wooden teeth, and she's like, Rat. I think it's like the Gap commercial.
Rita Wilson?
Rat.
No,
It's
Rita
5 minutes.
Wilson?
Yeah, Rita Wilson played. She played Janet Leigh.
Right.
Janet Leigh, exactly.
Right.
And Clark, you know who was in that movie?
Who?
Gone with the Wind? Superman was in that movie.
Is that true?
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon. Don't you call him Superman?
Yeah, so great. Greg, remember that time? Greg, you're so funny. Oh, I know that guy. I love that guy. You kidding me? The Ice Capades, they're great. They're going to be in the show. The whole cast of Cats, so great. Oh, I love How I Met Your Mother. It's the best show. Incredible. Oh, Robin Williams, I love your new show. The Crazy Ones. He made me laugh. You made me laugh so much, I'm going to put my hand over my mouth. I'm going to do the Jon Stewart. He does the Jon Stewart. He goes, he's always laughing. He's always. I don't want to screw up my my appearance on the Daily Show.
Oh my God! I got to tell you though, I love him. You can shit on him all you want. I love Jimmy Fallon.
I'm a Colbert fan.
Oh. Yeah,
Colbert's
the best. Nobody's better than Colbert.
Yeah, you're a big Craig Ferguson fan because you love that kind of a monologue that goes on for an hour and a half.
I don't like the accent. I like him, and I like the fact that he doesn't overscript the interviews. Like, he lets it actually be a conversation. But when I hear a Scottish accent as an Irish person, it's the only thing I'm really racist about.
Now, what is that? What is that based on? Did they take away the
Oliver
potatoes?
Cromwell.
They took away your potatoes?
Right. I just stepped all over your
Whatever.
punchline.
No, because it wasn't funny. If it was funny,
But how did I
give
know it wouldn't be funny?
Because you're familiar with my material.
I had a sense it might not go well.
So Oliver, now, first of all, as I've always said, and this is the idea I want for Greg's podcast, is to have me on a different audio track correcting all of Greg's malapropisms, his mangling of names.
I'm Googling Oliver Cromwell right now.
Oliver Cromwell was from the show Room 222.
Oliver Cromwell, he's English military and political leader.
Oh, you made the name up?
No, he's the guy who went into Ireland and just fucking destroyed it.
But then what happened? What happened with you in Scotland?
I thought Oliver Cromwell was Scottish.
Oh,
because I was talking about the Scottish accent.
But what is this something from your childhood? Like you were playing in the duff. What's the name of those golf? The links.
The links.
Yeah.
And a guy named Oliver put a potato in my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Or someone was with a kilt. You have a memory of a kilt?
That's right. And they used no underwear.
That's all you remember is like a kilt.
It was Braveheart, and then it was me laying in the fetal position in a shower with a trickle of blood going down the drain.
I don't want that to happen again. That was a
Let's talk about the Olympics.
80s, right?
Let's talk about the Olympics.
I don't want to get AIDS again. Okay, the Olympics. I love Bodie Miller. God damn it,
Bodie
I love him.
Miller. Now, did you see when the announcer made him cry?
She felt, and you know what's so great about this guy? And this.
Now, if you didn't see this, Bodie Miller, his brother died about 10 months ago. So he wins some ski race.
Bronze.
And
Bronze
the announcer comes over, and it's like, NBC, they're trying to shove so much story because some of the sporting events are pretty dull. Skiing's not. Skiing doesn't need a big story behind it.
Yeah.
But she comes running in his face after he wins. How do you feel about your brother right now who died 10 months ago? And he puts his head down and starts crying.
And, but the thing was so cool. He went on the, whatever that show is in the
Colbert
morning.
Report?
The Today Show.
Jimmy
whatever,
Fallon?
One of those horrible morning. It's not Good Morning Today. I think it's Today Morning America. And he said that he knew her and they were friends and that he felt bad for her because I don't think she meant to. But I think in that moment she went too far. I think she probably.
I think she might have gone too far.
Yeah, because she went first. She asked, and then she had to say, "And how do you feel right now about that horrible event?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do
you have a mobile phone?
I do, but many times I say to myself, I'm not happy with the current plan I have.
Well, it's the companies. I find that, I'll be honest with you, I was on the phone with, I'm not going to say who my provider was before I was getting rid of the service.
You were with Dr. Vinny Boom Bots.
It's Dr. Vinny Boom Bots Mobile. Yeah, he's actually got a one-nighter in Vegas that's not that bad. And I
Chest of drawers.
And I basically tried to get out of my contract. 2-year contract you can't get out of.
It's unbelievable.
Now here's what's believable. Ting.com has a deal where you can get in and out. You don't like it, you're gone.
Ting.com?
If you go to greg.ting.com, that's how you get information.
Don't be a douche.
I wouldn't be a douche about this. I would go straight ahead. And there's a calculator on their site. You can plug in however many minutes you use calling Susan and Zach Galifianakis.
But then they're used up, though, right? You can't retrieve them the next month.
No, because if you don't use them all, you get extra ones in the next month.
How do they do that?
They put you on the lower level.
Wow. How's the connection?
The connection, it's a Sprint network.
Okay.
It's the Sprint network.
Well,
so
then what are you going to say?
Let's wrap up this part.
Exactly.
Let's put an exclamation point on that.
Put a pin in it.
Let's put a pin in it. And also the kinds of phones you can use. 4G Android phones. You can buy a device from Ting.com or bring a used Sprint device. iPhone 4S. What are you swinging these days?
I finally got the 5S.
There you go. I don't know about that, but you can get the Nexus 5. You can get the HTC One and the Moto X. I don't know any of these phones.
That's an HTC phone that uses the Android. The whole thing is a Linux and
It all works with Ting.com. Now, if you want to use the promo code Greg, you can save $25 off a device purchase from them, or get $25 off in service credit, or just go to greg.ting.com. It's really great. Site's beautiful. Humans answer. Get involved. greg.ting.com. Back to the Olympics. That was a good read.
It was a very good read. It was. My favorite one is the one you do the. I think it's. Can I say the other thing you do? Not now.
No, you can say.
Yeah,
it.
you say, look, you're gonna buy something on Amazon, right?
Right.
You don't even sell anything about the site being great. Look, it's Amazon.
Right.
Enough said.
It's inevitable.com.
Inevitable. Yeah. Why not give me a taste at the end of the?
Why not let me wet my beak?
Why wouldn't you? Someone's going to get it.
Why are you working against me?
We want Rush Limbaugh to get the enter Rush at the checkout.
Let's not make it political, people.
That's true.
Here's the other thing
Back
about
to
the
the
Olympics.
Are you doing an Olympic theme show?
Sort of, except we haven't talked about it that much.
Is it bad that I can hear a door close from next door in your soundproof studio?
It's not very soundproof.
Yeah, door close. I hear. I see someone opening up a can of tomato juice across the street. That's how I am in the clubs. Who moved the napkin?
Exactly.
Who moved the drink?
Now that's difficult for you, isn't it? Because a lot of comics can have a routine. You
That's
literally
funny.
have to honor every single distraction that happens during your
I can't.
set.
Yeah, I have to know.
Have you ever tried to do a set without doing that? I mean, obviously when you do a TV set, you have to do that. But even then, you break out of it.
Well, what happened once when I was on? Did I mention I've done Letterman? I don't know if I've mentioned.
You've done
that
it, what,
recently.
13 times?
Yeah, stand-up I've done. Total appearances, I wouldn't know exactly. 40,
I bet you
40,
do.
40 total appearances.
Is that true?
Yeah, because I do the field pieces. But I'm not someone who
40.
toots my own horn. But can you check out my embouchure?
What?
I don't know. Something. It's a horn thing. Your
Right.
lip position. So once when I was doing a set on the David Letterman show, something dropped backstage or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Made a big sound. So I said, "Oh, that's not." So it says something like, that's not good, right?" Did anybody else hear that? Is that in
Right.
my head? So I feel like you have to when you're doing
Right.
stand-up.
I was doing John Oliver has a stand-up series on Comedy Central.
Yeah, maybe
So
you'll book me. You think?
They
You make a call? I wish I could show that face you made. So dismissive, so quick. Come on, Andy.
come on.
What does out of your league mean?
2014.
Yeah, look, give it up.
Not Oliver Cromwell, John Oliver. There was a smoke machine to the side of the stage that was making it was like it was gas powered. It was a diesel smoke machine.
It sounded like the bobsleds.
Right. And it hit a corner. And I'm up there doing my jokes for about a minute, and then I go, "Does anyone else hear this engine that's going on back?" I go, "What is this?" And nobody will answer me. And I'm going, "I don't understand what's going on. Do you hear this?" And I stop down, and a producer has to come out with a headset and whisper in my ear, "It's the smoke machine." And I go, "It's the smoke machine, everybody. Because that's why you all piled into this theater in the Village tonight, to see smoke coming on stage, right? Shouldn't be about the comedy. No, let's..." And I said, "Can you turn off the smoke?" And they turned it off. And John Oliver said backstage, he goes, "That was great, man. I'm going to make sure that stays in the special." It didn't stay in the special. And they didn't ask me to come back and do it again. And I don't know what's going on with Comedy Central. I sense that since then, maybe they've backed off a touch.
I'm too young for their demo. They told me I'm too young. I need more seasoning.
You're right. They want you to go to the Catskills on Broadway training summer program.
Well, they just feel like, if a comic's not in their 50s like me,
Right.
yeah, they said, "Come back to me when you're 60."
Right,
They said at the
right.
last meeting.
I think that's going to happen, by the way. I think that we've been very fortunate. We caught the opening wave of comedy.
Right.
And you're a little older than me, but, we were in that same generation where it's like clubs popped up. There was a need for it that almost outstripped the supply for a little while.
Right.
And then there was development deals that we certainly got our hands in the pot for.
Speak for
Grab
yourself.
some money. You got some
No, I
development
got a
deals.
couple of blind script deals.
Then there was tons of sitcoms. You were on Everybody Loves Raymond
Thank
for
you.
a bunch of years.
Thank you.
So I think that as we've aged, this sort of industry is kind of stayed near us.
Right.
And I think that there is, like, podcasts are ageless.
Yes.
And I think that ultimately stand-up is. And I think that there's a future for you.
Well, you did a series of podcasts about Y2K, and they don't hold up anymore.
My Y2K
Yeah,
series?
because you had all kinds of. It was like very serious. You had all kinds of engineers come on and physicists, and then when it didn't happen, you were like,
Are you shitting on how serious I just got?
"No,
Is
I'm
that
trying."
the gist of your
It was
bit?
saying how podcasts are ageless.
Right.
Yes, I was saying your remember when you did the bicentennial?
My
Does
dog
not
just
hold up.
scratched. You stopped down in the middle of it
Yeah.
because my dog
Oh,
scratched. You can't keep a thought straight.
But to say something spiritual though about life, which is I heard.
I'm gonna let the dog-
Are you gonna
you-
put, is
you
that
talk.
a smoke machine? No, the thing that's that's the other thing I like about your podcast is you're not afraid to go in to another room, open your mail, return a couple of phone calls, have a bowl of cereal, yell at someone, and then you come back in. Have you wrapped up whatever you're doing? No, but on a spiritual level, I think the main thing that everyone should do is you need to keep doing whatever you're doing. That's what I think, and everybody falls victim to that. It's like, I did this thing, it didn't sell. Has it still not sold? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, and that's where I think people get trapped. Whereas if you just keep going, you're in comedy. What do you care except for the rent and the mortgage?
No, I talked to my friend. My friend is going through a hard time right now with his marriage, and I said to him, there's no such thing as closure. It's a very overrated concept. Life doesn't come in little boxes, and you can't compartmentalize. It's like your relationship with your wife is going to continue. It's just gonna change, but it didn't end. It's not in a box,
yes.
and your feelings are not going to just be gone, And I think it's true, like career-wise too. It's like, you don't know when. Not to sound trite, but you really don't. Look at Mark Maron. I mean, what podcasting did for his career.
And his is my favorite story because I remember when he started it, and I remember we did that tour, and so we were both like at the bottom, not the end of our rope, but at the bottom of our whatever we were doing. So to see him just kind of do this and then it take off was very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Lewis Black all of a sudden. I mean, he had to be in his 50s when
he's my
popped.
go-to older guy reference.
Right.
That's all I got.
Rodney Dangerfield started doing comedy when he was like 40.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He was right a little bit earlier than me.
Was he?
I came in at the end of when Sammy Shore, at the end of when he broke up with Shecky Green.
No,
I was the guy.
Mitzi.
I was the guy. I dated Mitzi before I dated Argus Hamilton for many years. And then I realized that's not the way to move up.
No. Click it, people. Click it.
After sleeping with Argus for 5 years, I said, you know what? You probably know this, but I just figured it out. This is not the way to move up.
Yeah, Argus is arm candy. Bad track record.
I don't know what I was thinking.
No one's ever broken out.
I just wanted to do something to get my career going. Actually, that was the one thing. I don't know if we talked about this before, but when I auditioned at the Comedy Store and they said, okay, now you can work the door or park the cars.
Right.
That's the only thing I ever drew the line on.
You did?
Yeah. And that and standing doing the open mic at the Laugh Factory because he's a little sadistic, Jenny Masada.
Right.
So he'd make the comics wait for 9 hours.
Yep.
Like on the street. Half the people died. So I did draw the line at, I'm not going to be a door guy here. It seems wrong to me.
I used to stack chairs at a place called the Comedy Vault in Boston to get stage time.
But, even that, I mean, I'm not saying I'm against anything ever, but to me, it just felt like I just had an instinct that this would not be a good environment.
I would think in the long run, it might get you some stage time right away, but then in the long run, you'll be seen as a bitch.
But I think everyone at Comedy Store did it. Didn't they all, work the door?
I never went to that place. It always felt like there was a lot of stuff like that I didn't want to get involved in.
They say it's better now.
I hear that.
Because I can't go to the Laugh Factory.
Let's go together to the Comedy Store.
With you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a podcast on the way. It will be called an all-day podcast. I'm driving in with Andy Kindler, hour 4. Hey, Andy, have you ever seen what's in my glove compartment? Hey, it's 24/7, 365. This podcast will go for as long as I'm alive. Hey, what would be great? Why don't we leave the recorder on while I'm getting my teeth cleaned? Oh, it's going to be good. Oh, what's number 5 in the back canal there? Yes, I want the nitrous. Okay. Coming up, picking up my clothes at the dry cleaner. Were these Martinized? You're still snapping. Were these Martinized? Coming up on 24/7, 365. 8 hours of the funniest sleep you'll ever see.
I'm heading down to a funeral.
Hey.
Oh, don't want to miss it. Ouch, a lot of crying, but flowers are sweet. Ooh.
Maybe. Hey, well, check it out, everybody. I'm gonna heckle at a funeral. Hey, dead guy. The Pine Company called. Your coffin's in.
I think I recognize you from the Late Show Friday at Charlie Goodnight's.
No, it's not. It's Raleigh's. I'm playing Raleigh's.
No, you're wrong.
All right.
Can we plug dates for you, by the way, as long as we're on this podcast?
Yes, you can.
Let me see. I've got dates written down for
do?
you. Yes, Andy
You
Kindler.
couldn't have gotten it from my website.
Stand Up Scottsdale on March 13th through the 15th.
Yes.
Laughs, Kirkland, Washington, 321-22. Hilarities in Cleveland,
I've
one
never
of my
been there
favorites.
before.
Oh, you're going to love it. Nick
will I do-
Costas, nice guy, the owner.
Will I do okay there? Because
No.
I played in the flats before at the
It's
Improv.
not going to go well. 327 through 330, you'll be there. Also, I'm just totally, you'll kill there. You had this look on your face like,
No, I don't
Oh,
think.
no, it's gonna be great.
I'm going to be at Moon Tower.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, in April.
That'll be fun.
And this reminds me I should update my website.
Well, I got somehow my producer got the dates.
That's pretty cool.
Also, guest starring on The Neighbors on ABC next Friday, February 28th at 8:30 p.m. And at midnight on Comedy Central, Monday, March 3rd.
Wow.
Right.
You're on it.
John Matthews is.
John Matthews is your producer?
Right.
Can he produce my non-podcast?
When are you going to do a podcast, Andy?
You know what it is? I'm waiting for a special mic, a Neumann. I feel like I would be funnier with a Neumann.
What's a Neumann?
It's a ribbon mic. It will be so funny when I get it. It's a cardioid ribbon mic. It's a vacuum sealed. It's one of those like Leno got it for me from this guy who built his car made out of paper mache that runs on his broken dreams. That runs on his broken credibility and the energy generated by his backstabbing. He has a car that runs on the energy generated from his duplicitous backstabbing.
And it's like a hybrid. It never runs out.
It's paper mache. Yeah. Everyone needs. I love when people. I'm sure poor people love when the Jake Long goes. Yeah. Everyone in these cars is registered. Really? You have 4,000 cars. Yeah. You can take it out for a tool. Yeah. It's like sure. Sorry, starving people in Illinois. Yeah, take it out.
Illinois.
Come on out. If you're in Charlie Goodnight's North Carolina, you want to come out to my garage there and. No, it's great. Even Tim Allen looks uncomfortable walking with me in this interview. How did they rope him into it? Yeah, this car is made out of old other cars.
Is it that because you've done Letterman 40 times, do you feel the need to take down all the competition? Is that what it is? You've gone after Fallon in this podcast. You've gone after Leno. You've gone after Conan.
No, I like Conan.
Gone after Ferguson.
I like Conan. Conan I like. Why did you think I went after Conan? What did I say?
Yeah, I don't know. You mentioned him.
No. Conan I was very supportive of me. I will always be great. What am I, dying? I'll always be grateful. To Conan. I want to thank Conan. What am I, on my deathbed? You know what's going to happen? You know how my closing bit's going to be? On my deathbed at the Comedy Hospice. You'll be there 10 years later.
In Raleigh.
And I'm dying. And I say, can you come closer, please? Yes, I have a last request. Turn down Jimmy Fallon. I don't want to die as he's maniacally laughing, please. Because the guy in the bed next to me, he's dying too. He won't turn it off. It's his right. It's his right. This guy is playing Benny Hill because he took a Norman Cousins workshop. Whatever the guy is.
Norman Lear.
No, there's a guy who cured himself of cancer. Or they said that by watching comedies.
Right. It's a good reference. Let's get back to the Olympics.
What do we have to lose? Still good?
How about this one? My wife, I love hockey. And Olympic hockey is obviously the only redeeming fucking event in the entire Olympics.
And it's unwatchable.
Do you really feel it?
No, I like it. I love it.
So I can't wait. I record the men in the preliminary round, Russia against the USA. I record it. I'm going to set my alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning because that's when it comes on and I'm going to watch it. I oversleep. So now it's like 11 in the morning, having a cup of coffee. I sit down, start watching it. My wife calls out from the other room. Oh, you're watching the hockey game? You're going to love it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How could she?
Yeah.
That is unforgivable.
Yeah.
Did you put her belongings in the...
I could not believe it. And the whole game I'm watching with, it's like reading an Agatha Christie novel backwards. I'm just watching and I mean...
there was a dog here. I thought everything was going. It was over. This is how it ends. There's a rustle from underneath. And all of a sudden, Howie Mandel's there on the other side. So this was bad because but I thought you were rooting for the Nazis to win.
So and then I go and I'm watching the women's hockey today, and I won't spoil it by saying who won. I'll just say both sides did cry at the end.
Really? Is it the finals?
It was the finals for
Oh,
the gold.
okay.
Canada against the USA.
Whoa.
Who do you think won?
In that matchup, let me use the fact that I have no knowledge.
Right.
Zero knowledge.
This is FitzDog Radio.
Yeah, you're the king of that. I would be happy. I kind of always root for Canada. I mean, I root. I'm USA. I'm going to say that the USA won, but because you asked me, who was favored?
I believe. Well, the Canada team won the last 3 Olympics.
Oh, okay. So you would think Canada won, USA won.
And no spoiler alert. I would just say that you would be disappointed. Canada won.
Yeah, when's this coming out?
It already happened. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's right. But when
this podcast will come out tomorrow. The game happened today.
It better come out because my manager told me that a lot of times you will pretend to not have taped the show.
Right.
Oh, I can't believe it. How did it happen again? Have you ever thought about? I'm gonna be one of these guys. Have you heard about external hard? Hello, Earth to Fitzsimmons, going to another hard drive. Think about it.
Do you know that I had Zach in here one time? And a lot of times I do actually record it on my phone as a backup.
Right.
And
okay, that's
and
good.
it did die, and so I put out a podcast that was entirely taped on my phone.
I heard that one.
Right.
It just sounded like Zach was on the other side of the room.
Right.
And that was the one with you and Mike Gibbons. It was
Correct.
It was a 2-parter.
Wow. Jesus
I'm a fan.
Christ.
I am a fan.
I hope this is a category on Jeopardy someday. You will destroy.
Who is? What is the name of Craig Anton's play he's directing? Who things Adam Carolla? What are some of the things Adam Carolla hates? Okay, so the answer is blacks, Mexicans. What's the third group? Blacks and Mexicans. Who are 2 of the groups that Adam Carolla hates? That's right. You can go on. Things Adam Carolla hates for 400. Food stamps, anything different. What are 2 more things that Adam Carolla hates? And Adam Carolla for 800. Both of you think the Daily Double. And the answer is self-absorbed, catatonic. What's best way to describe narcissistic, self-absorbed? What are 2 of Adam Carolla's normal conscious states? Road hard, a wooden deck. Named. What are projects that Adam Carolla has forced his fans to pay for?
Oh my God! Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Adam Carolla.
It
can't
brought
handle
me
it.
the more joy than I've ever felt in my life was you laughing there. That was so good.
Oh my God! My apologies in this podcast to Jay Leno, Jimmy Fallon, Craig Ferguson, Robin Williams, Adam Carolla. Who else? The Olympics, Jews.
No, I was pro the Olympics.
Right. And you're pro-Jew.
I love the Jews. A little pushy.
Oh, my God.
I'm writing down a car that runs on the energy. I'll listen to the podcast.
Here's a news item. The U.S.'s clown shortage is no laughing matter. The United States is running out of clowns, and according to industry insiders, it's no laughing matter. The Daily News reports that membership in the country's largest clown trade organization has plummeted over the last decade amid higher standards for clowning, decreased popularity amongst the younger generation, and an aging population of current clowns.
Well, don't forget the price of big red noses is through the roof.
Right. And the shoes, they're not so big anymore.
No, and they all have to wear. This is a little known fact: is clowns wear orthotics.
Clark's clown shoes.
Clark's clown shoes. They were orthotics because just think about it. When you're flopping around, when you're trying to get a laugh by walking,
Right.
by the simple fact of walking.
I can't top the Adam Carolla rant that you went on.
Adam
and
Carolla
again,
Jeopardy.
I love Adam Carolla.
No, I know you happen to love him.
I
and
mean,
you've been,
I think he's great. But
we almost got in a fist fight. And by when I say a fist fight, I mean me cowering in a corner.
You and Adam?
No, you and me.
Oh.
Over your love for... No, I would not. No, I can't fight anybody because of my past.
My stand-up dates. Oh, March 16th.
Greg, are you going to be playing too?
Hollywood Improv, doing my big St. Patrick's Day show annually. I'd invite you, but you're a Jew.
And I'll tell you what I do.
Getting all
I'll do
Irish
it.
people.
I'll do it. You tell your dates, and I'll tell you what I do when I'm listening to the podcast when I hear your dates. Now you continue.
March 13th through 15th, I'll be at the San Francisco Punchline.
Oh, I haven't been there in a few years. I wonder if I should give Molly a call.
Comedy Works South in Greenwood Village, Colorado, March 20th through the 22nd.
Oh, yeah, that's a great club. She told me she was going to book me to headline in 1989. Nice going. Nice following through, Wendy. Nice going on.
In Fort Lauderdale, the Improv on April 24th through the 27th.
I do great in Florida. Why can't I get that booking?
Morty's Comedy Joint, Indianapolis, Indiana, May 8th through the 10th.
Good luck with that one.
That one you feel good about. That one
I'm not
I'll
yet.
drive you to the airport on that one.
But you had the thing in San Diego. That's the thing that intrigued me. The American Comedy.
You want to work there?
When did you work? When are you working there?
I was just there a few
Oh,
weeks
that doesn't
ago.
count. It has to be something upcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was it?
It was good. It was good.
That's all I do. Really?
Yeah.
How do I get in there?
It's good money, nice hotel. They treat you great.
I love San
Awesome
Diego.
crowds. San Diego's a good town. You can walk around to town during the day. It's not like being in Raleigh, North Carolina, where like during the day you're in a mini mall. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you can't go. And there's no fences there. The dogs roam free. That was true of Tennessee. I almost got killed in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee. I went out for a jog.
Yeah.
And there's no fences there.
Right,
And
right.
every dog can smell a Jew within 30 miles. And they literally chased me down and were circling me, wild dogs.
Right.
And a guy came along and goes, all right, that's enough. Like almost like the Shecky Green story. That's enough, boys.
He gets it. He gets it.
Yeah, and then I don't know what would have happened. My carcass would have been found. Wow. And I was a middle act at the time, so I don't think anyone would have called.
So the press would have even covered it.
Obscure Jewish comic found dead at La Quinta.
Another Jewish comic found dead.
Yeah.
Andy Kindler, I want to thank you for being on the podcast.
I tried to do on your podcast, because I love you so much, I tried to listen.
Yeah, you
For a
did.
change.
You did. You were good. There was the one scare with the dog, which was hilarious to me. That you're so close to a feeling of death that a little puppy rustling against your ankle sends you right into like this is how it ends.
Oh, it was frightening for a
What
second.
a way to live. What a way to
I
live.
always panic. My thing is the first thing you do is panic.
Right. I love you.
I love you too, man.
Thank you for being here, and thank you guys for listening. Don't forget greg.ting.com for the long-distance service that'll just sort things out, save you some money. I guess that's it, and we'll catch you next time. God bless America.
Luge.